Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Whoa, hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. I see y'all in the chat. Thank you so much. What's up, Jib Jab? Everything is fake. Necio. That's a nice, I think I'm saying that name right. What's up, everybody? Use name. Yes, of Aaron C. Joel Friday is my N. How you doing? Making me laugh. Silly things in my chat. How you doing? About to get rolling here on this fine Wednesday. Fine Wednesday. And I want to get into a couple of things. You know, I already got into it a little bit yesterday. A little bit of a development, sort of, on the Crumbly whole situation here. We haven't heard from the James Crumbly, but we did hear from a father, two fathers actually, of some of the victims of those dead. Can we say, is the scope of this case, I was asking Bill actually out here, I was wondering, is the scope of this case really, I'm thinking, it's definitely the first, they're saying it's the first time a parent has been charged for murders of their children committed in a school shooting. I'm wondering, is this the first time ever an American has been charged for someone else's crimes? Is that the scope here, or is that ridiculous? Other things have happened, right? I was thinking. A couple things I want to say about that. We'll get into it here. Of course, that and your calls, 888-775-3773. If you want to jump on the air, you want to talk to the Anchor Baby here. It's a pleasure to have y'all. I'm saying it's Zelensky's Wednesday. I got the Zelensky on. I got the long sleeve Zelensky on, my favorite of the Zelenskys. Really the only Zelensky I wear now. So you know what that means, okay? Be generous for the greater good. Okay? Benching 190 to this day. I don't even know if that's true anymore. My 1 rep max, I heard you guys talking about 1 rep maxes and bench presses. I do appreciate it. Everybody who joined me here from Joel Friday TV, great episode today. Insight into a little bit of what I'm talking about here. You heard it on his show, the mind of this Ethan Crumbly. What was missed and everything. You definitely want to check it out if you missed it. And Insight, if you want to check it out, Joel Friday TV. But yeah, thanks anyone who joined me here from there. I wanted to tell you about this gun-owning father. So here's what, I mean, you already know the Jennifer Crumbly case if you watched yesterday, but if you don't know, she's the mother of this Ethan Crumbly who killed four in this Michigan high school a couple of years ago now. And now this mother is found guilty for involuntary manslaughter for the death of those 4. And the case centered around her negligence with the firearms and the gross negligence in the handling and his access to these firearms. And so that's just jury of 12, they deliberated and said, yeah, she's guilty. She's guilty of this, facing up to 15 years. I heard other numbers, but this is what I wrote yesterday. And they had a big old trial, okay? Jennifer Crumbley is now facing jail time in this first ever case. And so I'm looking at this. If you remember some of the reporting from yesterday, I noticed all these women, the female, even the jurors were mostly feminine. I heard a lot of female voices, and I noticed this like emotional female component behind charging Jennifer Crumbley. What really underpins and motivates this particular case has nothing to do with justice, accountability, mental illness. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about the gun charges, and it's all about the Second Amendment, those who are against that, using the emotional pawns to get him on board with their agenda here. That's really what this particular case is, right? And I was pointing out the female component here, and I come across, because it just seems gun laws, you got to watch yesterday's episode. It's a feminine thing. Scared women type thing. But I come across a little Daily Mail news article here. I'm scrolling through the news here. Here's a little update. I see gun-owning father of Ethan Crumbley's victim says firearms are not the problem. Systemic issue is poor school oversight, okay, and slow response times to mass shootings. Okay, but right on. Not the problem. The guns are not the problem. We got the fathers of the victims, no less, those dead, saying, wait, hold on a second. We got something wrong here. Something's totally wrong here. It's not the guns. It's something else. Buck Meyer lost his 16-year-old son, Tate. Buck Meyer. I want to tell you about them a little bit here. Lost, and I see your calls coming in. Let me get through this, and I will get to your calls. 888-775-3773. Buck Meyer lost his 16-year-old son, Tate, in the attack at Oxford High School. And he revealed that as a responsible gun owner, he blamed systemic issues and the slow response for the tragedy rather than firearms. I don't like those words, but okay, right on, Buck Meyer, responsible firearm owner, and father to a 16-year-old son, dead, killed by this, Ethan Crumbley, in the aftermath of this sentencing. Here's Buck Meyer with a little manly wisdom, maybe, alongside another bereaved parent, Steve St. Juliana. So I've never seen that. I've never really seen a name like that. Steve St. Juliana. Okay, Meyer spoke with News Nation's Chris Cuomo about the shooter's mother, Jennifer Crumbley, being convicted on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. That's where Chris Cuomo's been at. I knew that. Chris Cuomo. You remember him. And that's what our system does. I'm reading a quote. They want to get everybody fighting about these crazy wedge issues, and guns are one of them. Sounded pretty tough. Buck Meyer said the watershed verdict made him feel like his voice is heard. Hold up. While blasting the school, which failed to prevent the school shooting despite warning signs, including disturbing drawings and desperate notes. You heard about this on Joel's show, too. There was a lot of interesting signs there. I don't know how. It's unclear to me how much the parents were aware, because in the trial it came out all this stuff that he has these disturbing texts and disturbing drawings, even all the way up to him writing something like, "I'm not getting any mental health help, so I want to shoot up the effing school." All the way up to that. I'm not sure though what the parents saw and when, because, for example, the defense of the mother centered around her saying, "But we were friends. We were the best friends, and I didn't take a lot of this stuff seriously. So it's unclear." So the warning signs, I mean, you heard about this. You definitely want to check it out. Voices heard. Hold up. Buck Meyer saying this watershed verdict made him feel like his voice is heard. So he's agreeing with the verdict. Things got a little strange for me here. I'm reading this, right? I feel like today the people spoke, Meyer said of the verdict. That's when I'm like I was wondering what's going on here. Good thing Daily Mail included the clip, which we'll watch here, which kind of made things a little clearer for me. Because I thought he came out here in defense of this, saying this whole thing was, they're not really, this verdict and the case, it's not about the real thing. They're focusing on the guns. It has nothing to do with that. But now he's saying that his voice is heard here as a responsible gun owner. So I thought a little strange. I say we watch the clip here a little bit. Try and make sense of what's going on here. Buck Meyer, Stephen St. Juliana, bereaved parents, as described by Daily Mail, of parents of the victims, some of the victims there at the shooting. So let's see if we can get this clip going so we can watch it.
Let me just get where your heads and hearts are on this, Buck. I'll start with you.
I felt like today the people spoke, and I feel like for me as a sportsman and a responsible gun owner, I hunt, I love to target shoot. I feel like for once, my voice is heard in this, and all the other responsible gun owners' voices are heard in this. All we did was send our kid to school. That's it.
Gun owners, it's always been a frustration that we hear about these things happening where people get access to weapons all the time because they weren't properly secured. It's always been frustrating. And now it's interesting that the jury was talking about who had this weapon last and who should have secured it. Steve, will there be a measure of satisfaction and justice for you and your family if both of them are found guilty of their son's crimes?
Yeah, I think it's an important
What? What?
Search here for accountability that will lead to some change.
You got to speak up there, Steve.
They came back guilty on Jennifer Crumley is a huge first step.
Okay, hard to hear him there. They let him go on with that mic. They did our boy Steve a little dirty there. Chris Cuomo with the funny. Oh, thanks there, Lil Nick. We'll get to you later. Funny stuff there. Steve there trying to speak. Not sure what's happening with his mic. But he said it's a great first step if you could make out what he was saying there. And so what I'm gathering here is, okay, they're agreeing with the verdict. No matter whatever else you say around and wrestle out of what you're trying to say here, you're essentially agreeing with the verdict, right? His voice is being heard. You heard him say, and Cuomo reiterates it with the details of the case and the responsible gun owner talk. Gun owner, something feels fishy from this first clip. Something feels a little fishy, like stolen valor. Like, yeah, I'm a responsible gun owner, and this is not about the guns, and I'm here to say something about the guns, and they're just not getting anything right. But my voice got heard here, and it's crazy because I'm a responsible gun owner, and she's being irresponsible, so she should go to jail. Somewhere there, you might think it's like a logical flip there, but something's fishy. It feels a little bit like stolen valor. Like, wait a second, you're actually going along with the whole thing. And Juliana Steve, he does say, yeah, this is an important first step to the question. Responding to the question about satisfaction and justice. This is a great first step to justice on this particular case. And if you know anything about the details from yesterday, you know that's not true for this case, and I want to get into that. But more of this moment here with Cuomo, Steve, and Buck Meyer, parents of the dead. Let's go clip 2.
Now, this kid was mentally ill. You could argue anybody who does this has something wrong with them. But do you believe that this goes down as a fix? Or are you concerned that this is just part of what justice should be? For instance, the school knew a lot of the same things that the parents did, right?
Yeah. No, this isn't the fix. And this is part of the problem. This is a whole systemic problem. And for us to want to just point the finger at the gun is not the solution. And that's what our system does. They want to get everybody fighting about these crazy wedge issues, and guns are one of them, right? And then they don't want us to focus, and they don't want to focus on.
Oh, that was my bad. I fat fingered the clip here. This isn't the fix, he says. Isn't that interesting? He said a little bit of talking out of both sides of your mouth a little bit, don't you? Doesn't it feel like that a little bit? This isn't the fix, though. This isn't the fix. Let's get back to where we were there. Let's see if we can do some snazzy switching.
Now, this kid was mentally ill. You could argue anybody who does this has something wrong with them.
And I want to scrub, but I'm going to mute it because it's annoying. It does that. It's kind of annoying. Okay, boom. Play.
Turn this tragedy into a big lesson.
Wait, I might have gone way too ahead. Let's just
now,
play.
This kid
Look,
was mentally
folks, bear
ill.
with
you
me.
could
Appreciate
argue
it.
anybody who does this has something wrong with them. But do you believe that this goes down as a fix? Or are you concerned that this is just part of what justice should be?
Let's
For
just
instance,
listen to it again.
The school knew a lot of the same things that the parents did, right?
Yeah. No, this isn't the fix. And this is part of the problem. This is a whole systemic problem. And for us to want to just point the finger at the gun is not the solution. And that's what our system does. They want to get everybody fighting about these crazy wedge issues, and guns are one of them, right? And then they don't want us to focus, and they don't want to focus on the whole systemic issue. And the more digging that you do on this, Chris, you're going to see that there was a huge systemic failure here, and the gun is just part of it.
When you say systemic, you mean the school?
Yeah, the school, absolutely. And the response times after the shooting started, could lives have been saved?
There's a huge opportunity.
Steve, come on, man. You got to figure it out.
A big lesson.
Steve, come, dude. Someone help Steve.
And we've heard from reports that Tate went after the shooter and tried to take away the weapon. And that tells you everything you need to know about somebody in terms of what they do when there's a challenge. And
yeah,
Steve,
I don't think, Chris,
go ahead.
I don't know if that's accurate or not. So all we know, because we don't have the story, Chris, because the government is hiding behind immunity and won't do an investigation on this. There hasn't been an investigation on this murder.
Ooh.
Our state government has not investigated it. I think it's important for everybody to know that. And it doesn't appear that he rushed the gunman. So that it appears to be false, but we haven't got the full story. So who knows?
Whoa.
They won't tell us the story.
Freaky deaky. Oh, Steve, seriously, man, get your mic figured out. Somebody help Steve. Lord. Hey, so it was a little bit of a longer clip, but thanks. I'm trying to paint a picture here. Appreciate you sitting through it there. Steve with the mic problems. It was Chris Cuomo's production team. No one's helping him out. Just letting him talk into the mic. Anyways, it's an internet world. We shouldn't take this as let's not gloat at their technical issues, folks. Let's not do that. Look, does that seem to happen a lot? Another side note here, if you allow me. Does that seem to happen a lot in these shootings, these horrific situations? There's a hero, and he ran at he actually tried to stop the shooter before he died. Now, I'm not trying to be all cynical. I guess I am being cynical, but I seem to hear that a little bit. The father didn't seem to believe it. He was incredulous. He was the same one that's saying this isn't the fix, though. I'm wondering, what does this guy know? Does this guy know anything? Or is he just afraid? What's motivating him? And what does he really believe? Because he's like talking out of both sides of his mouth. He's saying, don't point the finger at the guns. But that's what this whole case is about. This whole case is about that. Says, this is what our system does, he says. This guy says, as he's supporting the system, the same system going after the guns, going after the rights, and many things here, okay? They don't want to focus on this systemic issue, he says. This is a systemic issue. He's using fear words. He's using these cope words. It's a systemic issue. It's a mental health issue. These are all fear cope words, okay? They don't get it. They're a false diagnosis. The government, he says, the lives, they could have been saved. The government, they didn't do anything. And the response times, I had a bit of maybe a judgment or suspicion or something as I was hearing this Buckmeyer talk. Like maybe he's a little into this government conspiracy stuff. Like, that the government is conspiring against Americans. That's not, I don't even think, a controversial thing to say at this point. But to be into the conspiracies, I notice those people are like anybody who's really into anything. They're usually coping. They're usually retreating into a fantasy, not really dealing with reality. But maybe that's too far. I don't know. But I don't know this man, Buckmeyer. He's saying the government, they didn't, the response times. And that is an interesting thing to talk about. I want to get into that in a moment here. But that's what our system does. He's joining along the same people. It's like people mad at Biden and jumping on this train for this like sexual assault stuff. You know what I mean? You throw the truth and men under the bus. I got another clip here, okay? Let's break this last clip down here. The Crumblies. Grumbly in my tummy. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm thinking Winnie the Pooh right now. That might be a funny impression. If I knew it, if I knew how to do a Winnie the Pooh. Let's get to the third clip. I'm out of that, okay? Boom.
Look, it happens here like it happens nowhere else, and everybody knows we're not as simple as a gun law away. The most raw part of it are families like yours. You have now joined a community that you never wanted to be in, which is the parents and families of people who've been lost to a problem that we know we can do better on, because we do not go after it with everything we have. How do you get these people the mental health treatment? How do you get the access? How do you figure out how to get kids like this where you can keep them safe and monitor them and make sure they're getting right treatment that they need to get and staying on it? And how do you hold parents accountable? How do you hold the school accountable? Steve, what do you want people to know about your daughter?
Hannah was one of the most caring.
Oh my gosh!
You could meet. She was into everything.
In his moment with his daughter, Steve. I don't think we've heard a single thing. We've heard it.
Felt that it wanted.
I don't think we heard Steve say a single thing. Steve, stop. That's enough. That's enough. Stop. That's just ridiculous. And Cuomo just sitting there. Like, right on. Yeah. Yes, Steve. We hear you. Poor Steve. And his moment, too, to talk about his daughter who was killed. Horrible stuff, I know. But these are the men of America, I guess. These are the men of America. Talking about the big issues on a problem we know we can do better on, says Cuomo. It's not a gun law away. Cuomo has been, if you know what he's been doing is he's been peppering in these mommy anti-gun lobby terms. We can do better, he says. We could do better. In fact, when you're saying we can do better, he's saying this is a charge actually against America. This is a charge against the parents, but it's a charge against. Really, it's a charge against Second Amendment supporters when you say we can do better. This is a propaganda media term that has been used to say just this. We could do better means more gun laws to deal with the Second Amendment, which is really the central motivation of any of these gun laws, to remove that from the people. And you know their solutions. You hear their solutions. They use all these fear and cope words like systemic issues. They call this trial just. They call it justice. You know, this is a step to justice. This is one step closer to justice. We need to go at it with everything we have, Cuomo says. Another one of these communist words. It's more money. It's more programs, more laws, more taking away of rights. Like, we haven't already done that, by the way. Like, more like money, like programs and schools and anti this and anti that isn't a huge money sink for the government of America, state and federal governments of America. Let's be real. Huge, giant sinks. And getting worse. The problem's getting worse. People are crazier. They're more depressed. They're stupider in the schools. It's not working, right? More money and attention than ever, I'd say, to mental health. And this so-called problem, right? This problem of even school shootings. Think about that. How many years of this? It's a problem, and bullying and everything precursor to the school shootings. I don't know. Not to mention that it's not even a right or moral thing to do this whole well, not only charging Jennifer Crumbley, but charging America as if these deaths are on any of our hands. You know what I mean? And Chris Cuomo, may I say, men don't join communities. That's another. Chris Cuomo, men don't join. They don't join up these communities. What is this false emotional thing about joining a community with these grieving people? Like, how are you supposed to be a man in a subject to like some community like that where you have to placate emotion, you have to feel bad for people, you have to stay quiet, you gotta be nice and not say what you gotta, and not fix the problem and not be manly. How can you even be manly in a situation in that setup? Join a community. Chris Cuomo, come on, man. They sounded like ladies, really. They sounded like women up there, placing blame around as they see fit a little bit. They weren't properly secured, the guns. I'm a responsible gun owner. They weren't properly secured. And that's that's wrong. The parents weren't good enough or whatever. I think about that, and it's like the answer, it can't be all this reaction, all this afterthought reaction, trying to fix all this stuff. You got to understand, this is a feature of your society, angry America. This is what you get. These are your schools now, okay, with your angry kids. These are your schools now. And I don't know if, like, parents, they're ready to accept just how deep anger goes and how bad their kids can become. I don't know if they're ready to they don't really know. This is a feature now, angry America. This is your schools now, okay? And you want and you want to send your school. You want to keep sending them. You want to keep them home, actually love them and care about. No, but okay, fine. You want to take part in America today, in how it is today. Well, guess what? This is a feature. Train them up. I don't know. Make them warlords. Arm them. Send them to school armed. I don't know what to tell you. This is a feature of angry America. Some places worse than others. This is a lot of. It's not like that crazy, but you're following me so far. Especially, this is a little bit of a charge to parents who want to keep sending their kids to these schools. Oh, they're going to shoot them up. Imagine being a parent afraid that your kid is going to be shot up, but then you send them to these schools, and your kid has adopted these fears. They're your kid, and they're going to school like it. They're you never had that. You're like sending them into the jungle. You never had that. That's a new thing, I think, right? But on this horrible reality, men can accept a horrible reality. These are your schools now. And I think men can accept a horrible reality. Let me expand on what I mean in a moment. It's just funny to see these guys on Chris Cuomo's show. They're wrestling. Don't you see they're like wrestling a little bit with this topic? I love guns. I'm a responsible gun owner. But yeah, this is my voice that got heard. But this is mental illness. But I'm a gun owner and guns are cool. So how do you what do you do here? And systemic problems and response times. And another thing, could lives have been saved? Here's a little bit on horrible realities. You see this Buck Meyer dad say, could lives have been saved? Here's the thing about that. Overwhelmingly, probably in most cases, probably in every case, there's nothing you could do. There's literally nothing you could do. The thing about violence, okay, and you can call in 888-775-3773. I'm just on one right now. The thing about violence is it's brutal, okay? It's effective. It's brutal, it's fast, and it happens, okay? It's the effector. And the nature of violence is that the defender is always at a disadvantage, okay? Imagine with armed teachers, even if the students themselves were armed, okay? Even if all the students had guns and it's a Wild West, with an attacker that is sufficiently motivated and prepared, there isn't a whole lot you can do. There really isn't a whole lot you could do. There really isn't a whole lot that will stop them except maybe equal or greater force, and that's after the fact. And men know this. Men know this horrible reality and can accept it without having to gun laws and all this crap, okay? They also know anything other than what's really going on. The family, righteousness, morality in the home, forgiveness. Because these kids are angry. What are you? I mean, I'm yelling. I'm sorry. I'm yelling because I feel like we say this a lot, right? These kids are angry, okay? These kids also, by the way, kids. 15, I got something to say about that. Righteousness, morality in the home, forgiveness, okay? Anything other than that is a lie. No systemic problems fixing that. No gun reform, school reform, or charging the parents will fix that. Okay. You feel me? So that's what's going on, though. Jennifer Crumbley looks like she was facing jail time. Wonder what will happen with James Crumbley, what his defense will be. You know, it's fascinating, the details, hearing them on Joel Friday's show, too, about Ethan. You know, the kid was disturbed, I guess. He had anger, for real. We can at least agree, right? He had anger. People were saying, I bet you he was on meds. From what I could tell, he requested a therapist. His mother wouldn't give it to him. His parents wouldn't give. I don't know if he ever got the therapist or meds. In fact, they said he never displayed psychosis while being interrogated during. I don't know how they know this part, that during the attack he didn't display psychosis. I don't know how they. But yeah, he attempted suicide, though. Pills before. So he definitely had problems. But look, I'm trying to make a point here. I guess he was 15 and all that. But I don't think parents are ready to admit just how evil things can get. How evil anger, how deep anger and ego goes, and how it gets worse every generation. I don't think they're really ready to understand this. You know, I see some of the things that Ethan Crumbley wrote. He's saying, they won't give me mental health help. I need mental health help. And now I'm going to shoot up a effing school. What I'm trying to describe here is that there's something about children, so-called, and 15 and even younger. There's a part of you that there's a knowing, that you know what you're doing, sort of. And I'm trying to describe how he's saying, oh, they're not giving me mental health help. That's not what you needed. Maybe it's something you heard. I understand. But That's not what you needed. You wanted your parents, or you're yearning for your father. But you don't know how evil things, like, what I'm trying to describe is just how bratty and, like, out of control kid can become a school shooter. Like, I know this little girl, and she's the cutest thing ever. She's little, and she knows it. She's little, she's cute, and she knows it. And you tell her the rules, you know, we're trying to do something, and you can't be, you got to be quiet. You got to do this or that. You got to be quiet. And she knows that she gets attention. And she won't get in trouble. She even says it. Little kid, too. She's like, I forget what she said. Like, I'm cute, so I know you won't do anything or something like that. And it's just a kid, right? It's just a kid. It's not a big deal. A kid's got ego. And ego, I've even heard Jesse say you need ego as a kid to, like, operate and function and do all your little energies, all your little willies out as a kid. But I think as you grow older, maybe you kind of see that that's the ego at work. And the ego goes deep, out of control. You let it go out of control. That's the crime here with the parents. And I don't think it's mental health. Oh, even disturbed writings and all that. No, I don't even know if we can say he was that. I don't know if we know it. We just didn't know him, okay? He does not display psychosis. I'm off a tangent here. I want to get back to and finish this up here. Because you can't forget the details of this case, okay? It's not a case of accountability. It's a revenge case, okay? All the way to the mother passing off the blame to the father, saying, that's not my fault. This is the pass off the blame train case, okay? And it's got gun dads, Cuomo, and everybody else jumping on for reasons, right? Jumping on an evil agenda. Don't be a part of the evil agenda. So, yeah, don't be a part of it. You'll be a pawn for this evil agenda. You know, maybe you believe that they deserve charges. They deserve different charges. That these parents deserve charges under a new reimagined tribunal, so to speak, where parents are held accountable in a novel legal way for a number of things, you know. That's an interesting argument. I like the toughness of that. There's something tough about it. But I mean, I can't believe anyone for a second really believe in this bogus story that it's firearm negligence. Because so then what? The charges become what? Parental negligence, emotional negligence. Oh, he wasn't there. The parents weren't there enough. The parents have to. I don't know. This whole gun stuff too. I wanted to make a side point. Sorry. That they gave him a gun. They gave him a gun, but it's the father. The father gave him a gun. It could be just a father showing his kid what he thought was right. That this was a good development. Look, now we're connecting. If you look at the details of the case, the mother passes off all the blame to the father, saying for encouraging the hobby. So it could very well have been a father trying to get close to his kid. And so I guess this whole bogus thing about firearm negligence. So then what is the charge? What does the charge become? Parental negligence charges. I mean, I'm open to talking about that. It sounds tough. I like this tough approach. But this whole thing is bogus. Parental negligence is a feature of American society, okay? It's been going on, and we got a lot of parents to charge if that's the case. And the Crumblies are just a martyr. They're just martyrs for this evil anti-gun movement that doesn't understand the basic nature of violence. That you're at a disadvantage. You're always at a disadvantage, and really you got to go at it at the source. You'll always be at a disadvantage if you keep reacting to violence. You got to go at it from the source. Men know that, I think, and the answer is the home. Obviously, no one doing that. You know this. Really, who's really pushing that? Like big time. Like the true answer for the home and fixing the home. Jesse. That's it. I mean, I'm sure you could think of others maybe, but I can't think of one. No one really has an answer to that. But they end up sounding like women in these conversations. Cuomo, big tough Cuomo, Yeah, maybe so. Everything is fake. Maybe so, but I didn't know everybody was going to talk about it. And I spent all my time preparing. Come on. There's a little bit of an interesting insight here. This will make them accountable. That's such a lie. The thinking is that it will make them what? It starts making them accountable somehow. But it's just going to make parenting tougher. Anyways, you would think the parents would be, you'd think the situation holds humanity accountable. Like your kid killing someone would be enough. Like, dang, this is holding me accountable. And maybe arriving to why that isn't the case is closer to the truth. But anyways, that's pretty much what I got to say about this, though. Trading rights for safety comes to mind a little bit here. Not to continue too much further here. Trading rights for safety. You almost have to as society gets crazier, though, and people don't want to face the issues head on. You just have to do police state, no guns, surveillance. And there's been a couple of landmark cases in the pretty recently. Trump immunity for the 2020 stuff, presidential immunity. He's saying, how can any president operate in the future if they're going to be impeached and taken to court for anything they do? The border with the Supreme Court, Derek Chauvin, now years ago, Jean Carroll, now you really can't believe all women, the Crumbleys. I hope people can see more than ever how possible it is to become a third world country. You know what I'm saying? How easy, how possible it is. Y'all feel me? What are you saying in the chat? What's going on here? You know, I had to. Nit would get disqualified for pulling a knife. Wait, what are you talking about? Get to the core of it. I hope we did. I hope we did there, Riley. I appreciate y'all waiting there patiently. You can call in 888-775-3773. Carver with the super chat already says, somebody clip Crumbly in my tummy, please. LOL. Grumbly. I can't do it. What does Winnie the Pooh sound like? Christopher Robin? He makes like weird mouth sounds. Like, we have to build the wall, Christopher Robin. And some of them are good people, Christopher Robin. Grumbly in my tummies. I don't know. Someone asked me to do Winnie the Pooh as Trump. Or what about Trump as Winnie the Pooh? This is ridiculous. And I saw so much honey, it made me grumblies in my tummies. Okay, folks. Bad time to read the chat. Seriously. We were just talking about serious things here, but I'm pretty much done. Ethan Crumbly, you know, it's just a big joke. This is not about justice. It's not about anything like that. People aren't even ready to start. Because they're not ready to see their kids as evil a little bit there. But thank you, Carver, for the super chat there. You can donate. You can support. I'll read your super chats here on the show if you donate through YouTube. You can send me a Rumble rant. I have supporters there on Rumble. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Thank you, DJ 2020. What's up, man? And you can buy me a coffee too. Buymeacoffee.com/Anchor Baby. And I have supporters at dlive.tv/Gorgonzola. Y'all rock. Thank you. Nit, look what you did. You confused poor Ivana. What trauma? What are you guys talking about? This is someone said recently that a feature of my show is being confused by my chat. And I think it's happening right now. We got Shoes Off in the chat. We got Winnie Wilden, Trump. I appreciate you tuning in, though. You can jump in the chat. You know it helps. If you can't always do it, you don't always have to support monetarily. You can like and subscribe, leave a comment. Maybe you don't like what you see, leave a comment. If you don't like what you see, call 888-775-3773. We don't need therapy, we need Christ, says Bibby. The therapist would have made things worse. Interesting comment. Right on. Amazing. Yeah, but what do you think about that? Full Zelensky mode. I know it. You know it. And it's got you feeling generous. You're hearing my voice. You're seeing the olive green. You're getting all jagged up in your head. You're thinking, man, I feel for his cause. And I want to donate. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. What else can we get into? Because that was on my mind. That was pretty much what was on my mind. Didn't think we'd get to it that fast. And it's the same mess. Rana, Mayorkas. I wanted to get into this too. So, Mayorkas impeachment. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They could not do it. With the Mayorkas, the impeachment fund, the funding bill and all this. But they're being tough, right? They're being tough. Johnson and Trump saying no to this border bill. You know, it's crazy. I showed you Lankford, and he swore to us. He swore to us. Senator Lankford. Who the heck is this guy? Who the heck is this clown? I'm starting to find out. He told us, he's like, oh, that's just a bunch of internet conspiracy, a bunch of internet rumors, you bunch of whack jobs. What, you think I'm just going to let in 5,000 people? Look at this guy. Think I'm just going to let in 5,000 people a day, you bunch of online conspiracy whack jobs? But nowhere am I seeing that doesn't remain to be the case. Obviously, the bill's already dead. We already talked about this. Dead on arrival, as they said, Mike Johnson. And he told us, what, you think I'm just going to let in 5? Think that's what I'm going to be okay with? They're just going to let in 5? Like you have, he said the words, he said to us, so you think this bill is just going to be like a person at the border with a little ticker counting up to 5,000 every day, and then that's when we can shut it down? As far as I could tell, there's literally no reporting saying to the contrary. Mr. Lankford. So I don't know what Republicans are doing. I don't know what they're up to. What in the world are they doing? Whack jobs. I just about whack jobs. But you see what I'm saying here? And they couldn't impeach Mayorkas. I don't know what they're trying to do here. It's quite clear. Like I'd like to know the what was the dissent here on the Republicans who joined with the Democrats. If you don't know, it's been a bit of a saga, if you will. Well, the whole border thing has been a saga. But as of late, one of these little, besides the, what? Can we call Operation Lone Star part of this GOP saga and the border? Besides that drama, besides the drama with the bills and funding the government and will it happen and Kevin McCarthy and the Republican holdouts trying to secure the border, you also got this impeachment going on with Mayorkas, this head of the Department of Homeland Security, keeping the homeland secure. House of Representatives let Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas off the hook for the border crisis created under his watch in a historic 214 vote against impeachment. Representatives Ken Buck, Republican of Colorado, Tom McClintock, another Republican, California, and Mike Gallagher, Wisconsin Republican. These were the Republicans who, I don't know, turned here, sided with the Democrats. I mean, what would even happen? I don't even know what would happen. Should Mayorkas have been impeached? But it's more of a charge on Republican efficacy. And what is even their role? What do they even do? Why do they deserve any votes at all? Because it's like, yeah, what's it going to do is a fair question. But after the vote was decided, Representative Blake Moore, Republican out of Utah, voted nay. Anyways, Gallagher expressed concerns with the impeachment Tuesday. Buck announced last year this would be his final term. Okay, they're just saying a bunch of stuff here. But they essentially failed to impeach this guy. The defeat is the latest for Speaker Mike Johnson, who inherited a slim majority that has been decimated further by the ejection of George Santos. Didn't they replace him with a woman? Early retirement of Representative Kevin McCarthy. It's just been bad for the Republicans. And now Ron is out. And they're wondering why the lowest fundraising ever. You see this, I use this for this intro, for the Manhood Hour intro for the Jesse Lee Peterson show, where she did this thing with Dana Bash. She's walking through the halls, and she sees so many men. Where was this? I showed you that. She's walking through this hall here, and it's all pictures of men, portraits of men in the halls of government. And she's like, "Oh no, I'm glad. I'm wondering what do you see here? I've seen a lot of men here. I'm glad to bring a feminine touch." Yeah, I don't know. It's just not working. People are kind of sick of all that. It really seems like it, in some respects, right? Are people really waking up? House fails to impeach Mayorkas, though. Bipartisan border deals. They call it bipartisan. It's all against us. It's crazy. Rana. I love it. Everyone's falling in line, though. Falling in line on the Trump train. People don't like me saying that. Fall in line. What a mess. Nick, have you ever worked an office job? Do you think it's real work? Yeah. Yeah, it sure seems like real work. It feels like real work. What do you say? Everything is fake? You disagree? Have you ever worked an office job? Do you think it's real work? But anyways, that's enough with this all this crap. Mayorkas, and the whole thing is dead anyways. So I guess we're past this whole bill with the House and Lankford and all this. Moving on from that, it's really gonna come down to Trump. None of these fights with Eagle Pass, Operation Lone Star, this or that. Although it seems like the federal government kind of backed off a bit there. It's going to come down to Trump having someone at the top with the motivation here to really do the right thing, to make it happen. And mass deportations and everything. All the way. They're turning on Mitch McConnell now. Cruz says it's time for Mitch McConnell to step down as GOP leader. Senator Ted Cruz pointing to what he called the mismanagement of a border security and Ukraine funding package. said Tuesday, it's time for Mitch McConnell to step down as the Senate GOP leader. Cruz was one of 10 Republican senators who voted against McConnell's re-elections as Senate Minority Leader after the 2022 election, and he is a longtime critic of McConnell's leadership. While Cruz's desire to replace McConnell as leader isn't new, he has stepped up his criticism. So this guy's like an old rhino. He's been there for a long time. And this deal with Langford and all this, now that it's falling flat, he's saying they got to step down. I don't know what Cruz has been up to lately, but longtime critic of McConnell. But, you know, I don't know if he's calling the Ukraine funding also mismanagement. Something I've heard about the Republicans is that they're holding out not just for the border, but they're holding out for Ukraine funding. So it's still not about us. It's still not really about the border. So I don't know if this is if that's true, if this is more evidence to that. Cruz says Congress does not need to pass legislation to reform the nation's asylum laws and give the presidential power to close the border. You know, I don't even know why we need to reform asylum laws. That sounds like more no más. No more asylum, legal, illegal. You can't do that, not right now. No more arguing that the President Biden has all the tools to shut down the border. This is like a known thing. But the Republicans fractured. See what happens with all that. What a mess. I was on one here with the Crumblies and all that. That's really all I was thinking about. It's crazy. What's the charge, really? What's truly the charge? But that's really what's all been. The only thing that was really on my mind, slow news, I guess. Otherwise, not much happening. There was there's this thing on cheating and dating. I might do. You might find interesting here. We might be able to do here in a moment. But yeah, what are y'all thinking about this? The Crumblies. Is this the first American charged for someone else's murder, for like the physical actions of someone else? New lows with all these cases going on. It's is it over? Nick having a half day today. No, I didn't mean it. It's just I seem to have only prepared for half. I was on one, Chris. Nick is way too down with the Mr. Zelensky cut. I don't know about the good hair charges. People talking about good hair here. The charges of good hair. I don't know. I think Carver was on it here. He's in my mind on this one. My hair's too Chicano. It grows out a little bit and it's not really good hair anymore. I may be the blackest, but I don't know if... I may not even be the blackest, and I don't know if I have the greatest hair. It's not fair to say. Insane asylum laws would be nice. Right on, Court. I think if you can't define what you do in a simple sentence, it's fake, for lack of a better term. I am a fisherman. I fish. I am a fireman. I fight fires. I am a baker. I am a data analyst. I analyze data sets and leverage the information to give companies a strategic advantage over their... Okay, everything is fake? Office jobs are... all. So everything is fake? Huh? Everything is fake, even office jobs. I don't know if I can say... What do I say? What's my job? Look what I said about work. What do I do? I make videos. But what's my purpose? But whatever you do, don't say you're a pilot. That is true, Carver. Unless you have the certifications I have and the amount of hours I've put in, that's a different story. But don't go around saying you're a pilot when you don't have experience. That's ridiculous. We love you, Space Cadet, wherever you are. That's how women have gone into positions to dominate. I think that's a fair point. Incredible. Hold up. How do I make this give me sound? Give me 1 second here. Okay. Boom.
The side of the road, the whole bus is on fire. We get off the bus. I was on like a brand new tour bus, truly, with Noah. I am like going to sleep on the bus that night, and literally it catches on fire. The bus literally like blows a tire. We pull over to the side of the road. The whole bus is on fire. We get off the bus, and it like 3 minutes later exploded into flames. I could not sleep on the bus
because you were so anxious.
So
This is some woman. This woman is this that woman Miley Cyrus's mother. Does this sound like a mother?
Ambien, and it made me feel so bad. And Miley was like, "Mom, if you would just smoke weed." That's how it started.
Smoke pot.
You probably know Vistaprint.
We don't need that ad. Tish Cyrus reveals. Look, this is just a random thing I had written down on my notes here. I'm clicking at it now, and I'm kind of remembering what I wanted to say. Tish Cyrus reveals lookalike daughter Miley got her on devil's drug. What's up with these? Why is there ever a surprise? We're seeing the homes. Miley Cyrus, okay, she's got issues, right? She displays them on. She puts them on display, and she's got all sorts of troubles. She's got troubles with, and then Tish Cyrus reveals. Why are we ever surprised with what's going on? I mean, this is really not that deep. I don't really care about this, to be honest. It's really not that deep. But why? It's really not surprising a lot that what goes on, huh? Folks, huh? Somebody help me here. Oh, jeez. That's what I had to say today, really. Crumblies, that's what was on my mind. And I don't really have anything else to say. I should have written down something else. What did I leave? What did I leave in from yesterday's show? I know the Tucker Putin thing might come out. We're going to watch for that. I'll watch it and let you know about it. How about that? Nothing to say about that. What a mess. I was all into it. The Crumblies. And this charge. Maybe I shouldn't have been that into it. Hello? It's not that important. But it's pretty evil, huh? We really beat that story to death on all the shows today, I think. And now I'm like, now I got it all out and now I'm out of steam. I'm here almost floundering a little bit. Folks, more Apple Vision end of humanity stuff. I see now you're even helping me. Now chat's even helping me. Chat's even helping me at this point. You know, Trump, interesting. Here's a little interesting tidbit. Trump won. He received the most votes in 2020 in California, receiving 1.5 million more votes in California in 2020 than in 2016. You think people are waking up? I don't know. Who's jaded? Who's jaded? Who's here? My brain is short circulating. Who's trying to call me? You trying to call me? 888-775-3773. You're saying you're trying to call me? No one's picking up? Dang. Spin some of your music. That's probably be better. You know, tomorrow, I might have to do a different kind of show. Because I believe the studio might be taken up. So I might have to do a little bit of a different show. Facts, says Joel. What are you saying? What do you mean? Facts to what? Joel. Facts. He's talking to me in this chat here. The live flat. This is not a 2-hour show. You're right. Everything is fake. Joel, you're Monday is the show. Never mind. Tomorrow I still do American Anchor Baby tomorrow. So don't you tune in. I might have a 2-hour show tomorrow. Joel, you're teaming up with the Start Drama. How about that? I guess maybe Start Drama. Joel, you're teaming up. You're teaming up with the evil anti-gun people by saying these parents gotta go to jail. VR chat Thursday, maybe. All right, folks. You know what? Inter JLP Radio Network shots fired. Yeah, man, you're teaming up with the anti-gun lobby, man. Send the evil lawmakers too. Yeah, no, but you're teaming up with the evil lawmakers, Joel. You're teaming up with the evil lawmakers, man. Yeah, smash that like on your way out, y'all. That's pretty much it from me. Look, I shouldn't have gotten that into the story here, but that's the show. I mean, there's no point in... I do appreciate all the support and the super chats there. Unless you want to call in about this Crumbly thing. If she should have gone in. I don't think so. Joel's teaming up with the evil lawmakers. I personally don't really think that. I'm just starting drama. I think what Joel's saying is he wants to see he wants to see parents tried in a brand new kind of tribunal where parents are charged. You know, he's not really I think that's what Joel's talking about. He's not really I'm really just starting drama. For no reason. I think Joel wants to see a new system and where parents are charged, where not these courts. You gonna give up, Nit? Carmony, I don't know what to talk about. What are we even saying at this point? I have no notes, no calls, and I'm not ungrateful. I'm totally fine with that. Sometimes you get calls, sometimes you don't. And I got my spiel out.
Do you think cheating hurts a man or a woman more?
I think it hurts a man more because y'all aren't prepared for it. Women, we're prepared for heartbreak from day one. We're prepared for y'all to give less, to receive less, to just settle for less. And for y'all are expected to be given more. For women to just give you more, for it to be all for you. And so when it doesn't, they're like, well, was it bigger? Was it better? Was it
oh, dang, what?
Does he have more money?
The sun is still up, lady.
Blah, blah, blah. If he does, then I don't know if y'all know how to handle it. If there's a little guide for y'all to handle it. But for women, from day one, we're always taught either from our fathers, from our uncles, from our cousins, from whoever is in our family that is a male figure, that it may not be what it's all cracked out to be. And for men, I think y'all expect women to succumb and to just prevail and to take whatever you give us. But that's not the case, especially as these generations come and we really do provide our money. So what do y'all bring to the table?
Oh, damn. Have you guys seen this channel? You guys, there's this channel. It's gone pretty viral, I think. Daily Dose of Growth. Some of these shorts have a lot of views on them. Daily Dose of Growth, it calls itself. And it's short after short. I don't know if this person's repurposing content because it looks like the same roster of man on the street interviewer type people, but it's the content's like this. It's always some sort of man on the street interview or event or something, conversation going on. This doomer type music in the background. It's like music going on, and then this meme guy on the top half, all smoking. They call him the Doomer, don't they? The Doomer Wojak. Doomer Wojak. It's part of the meme stuff, okay? You gotta, if you don't know, you gotta get educated. Maybe you don't have to get educated, but this is a little character online. And he's like depressed. He's always like depressed. I always see him depressed. I don't quite ever see him happy. And I think they call him the doomer. I think they call doomers people who are, you know, full of doom. They're black-pilled. And so I'm just going to smoke my cigarette and be depressed and just go to work and come back from work and do the same thing over and over again. And then I think that's the whole doomer vibe, okay? If I'm understanding here. And so I don't know if you've seen these. They've gotten some attention. I know some of you are saying this woman's right. She may be correct. Cringy post says, "Who's your bear?" But what do you think this is aimed at? I think this is like aimed at maybe younger people. But this is the content.
How much money?
Oh, let's see if we could turn that down. Boom, boom, boom. I hope that does it right there.
You guys have in your bank account?
I have like 300,000.
Wait.
Wait.
No, wait, sorry.
What are you looking for, man?
Look, some of these are skits, obviously. But which one was I trying to show you, though? You guys know from watching my show.
100%?
Yeah.
Okay, here.
I was in love with you. I wanted to be with you, but that's all in the past now.
I hope I never see you.
No, not this one, not this one.
What are you looking
Where
for,
is
man?
it?
I was in.
We just had it. You just saw it, folks. It disappeared.
Do y'all trust each other 100%?
There it is.
Yeah.
Maybe we test the theory. Sure.
Yeah.
Y'all two swap phones? Let's do it. Let's go to Snapchat. Who is Ethan? Why your friend stopped me on girl? 48 Day Street? You want to check through it? I don't need to. You don't need to? Going too crazy? Our friends making out? Okay. Who's that?
Okay, well.
What is that? I was there. Somebody touching somebody lap. Yeah. That's her touching his lap? I was there. On the other side. She was touching your friend's lap.
So who's this aimed at? I think this is aimed at like younger people. It's aimed at single people, I think. Maybe people in relationships. Doomer relationships. Are they all cheaters? No. They're all sluts. They're all cheaters.
I was in love with you.
How long have y'all been together?
Wait, no, not even the oldies.
30-something years.
Okay, decades. Do y'all trust each other 100%?
Sure.
Maybe we test the theory.
Go ahead.
You got about 10 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Swap phones.
What's that?
Y'all two swap phones?
Swap phones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
With who? With him?
I was just gonna say I'll swap with him.
Oh yeah, of course. Y'all swap. Yeah.
There you go.
Let's go through Snapchat.
No, I don't want to open my phone and put it on.
Why not?
I mean, I'll show it to him. I don't want to go on there.
Oh, it won't go. Like we won't show the messages.
Yeah.
Swipe to the left.
Dang.
Swipe to the left.
Yeah, no, that's the right.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
Swipe to the left.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not trying to look through your phone. I'm just seeing if you text anybody and being loyal to your husband. That's all.
A Chinese man made these edits. Everything is fake. What makes you say that?
Oh.
Yeah. And who is Stefan?
Who's Stefan?
Okay.
All right, we're done.
No.
How?
All hope is lost. Not in February. Not during February. This is quickly. You know it. Everything's fake. So is all hope lost? Poor boomer guy. Lol, this is cringe. You guys think this is real though? The thing is that those reactions from the boomers, I don't know if that was acted, but that could have been acted. You got to be careful with this stuff. It's all quite. I don't know. Someone even is saying this is Chinese media propaganda. I don't know. I think it is propaganda. They get paid $5 for 5 edits. I know them. Talk to them all the time. I don't know. I don't have any social media because I'm married, says Charlie Chutch. I mean, honestly, this is all a little overblown. Most people aren't really like the people you see online. They're a little bit more regular. It's all kind of exaggerated, but you already know that. What a mess. But what was that first woman saying? She was on.
How much money you guys have?
One. She was on one. No.
Cheating hurts. Do you think cheating hurts a man or a woman more?
I think it hurts a man more because y'all aren't prepared for it. Women, we're prepared for heartbreak from day one. We're prepared for y'all to give less, to receive less, to just settle for less. And for y'all are expected to be given more. For women to just give you more, for it to be all for you. And so when it doesn't, they're like, well, was it bigger? Was it better? Was it whatever?
Man,
Does he
I
have
forgot about that. I don't even care. I forgot about that. It's the sun is up, lady. Look, let's just move on. This is a mess. Doomer memes for doomer people. Doomer memes for doomer people. Black pills are not for Christians. So silly. I got a super chat from Hake, though. Nick, please critique Putin's performance. And we got a little super chat here. We got a viewer video, in fact. Viewer video. Viewer video, thank you. We got chat involved with the show, okay? Viewer video. Hake asking us to critique Putin's performance. Oh, dang. Folks, I think we're just going to have to let this play. You know what? For those who were a little worried, and okay, you were worried, you were wondering, wow, this is really going to be a legendary episode. For those of you who were a little worried, and let me assuage all your fears, because I got an amazing video for you. Let's just let it ride. Let's just let it ride. Oh, yes. You gotta love the MIDI horns. Vladimir Putin, folks. You gotta love the MIDI horns, even though I see a brass section. That's one of the top comments.
I found my thrill.
Yeah, American music.
On Blueberry Hill. On Blueberry Hill. When I found you. The moon stood still.
Auto-tune?
On Blueberry Hill.
Right on, Russian people. That's a black person. There's blacks in Russia. I don't know why. Who would have thought otherwise? A strange thing to even think. How's this volume? Blueberry Hill, American music here. I think this is a good volume. You can hear me. Rock and roll. Who says we can't be friends? Russia and America. And the Russian ladies. Asiatic in nature. but they're singing American music. I think this was back in, this was posted 2 years ago. You know, we could have been friends. Blueberry Hill. Everybody loves a little bit of rock and roll, America style. Even Putin. Great job. Great work, I say. Vladimir Putin. Does it sound like AI? Caitlin Racco says, is that AI? It sounds a little strange. I'm thinking out of tune. Nah, it's honestly just the way it was recorded or something. And it's multiple people singing. It's not just Putin's voice. You're maybe hearing a bit of a delay there. But that's nice. Vibraphones and all. Great stuff, Russians. We'll see what happens with all that. You know, Tucker's out there. Gonna talk to Putin. Talk to Vladimir. And get his take on the whole situation. I mean, maybe a little bit more than just his take. But like Tucker said, you know, like Tucker was saying, Americans deserve to know. Americans deserve to know why I'm interviewing Vladimir Putin, he says. You know, you see in the media right now, they're saying, oh, this guy's a traitor, this guy's talking to an enemy. And you know what? In some ways, that's true. In some sense, that's true. You know, when you hear this charge, especially if it comes from the military, when you hear this charge that Tucker Carlson is, is a liability in some way or is worthy of surveillance for whatever reason, is in a sense it's a truth charge in a sense. The Russian I think it's fair to say Russia stands opposed to America, and let's call it the American regime, let's call it the American government, State Department. But we kind of want that a little bit, right? to see what the enemy has to say, what's going on, because the government has become our enemy. But I'm not saying Viva Russia. What do I know? We just want to hear from Vladimir Putin. Tucker Carlson says it's important. He wants to be a journalist over there in Russia.
Months. Here's why we're doing it. First, because it's our job. We're in journalism. Our duty is to inform people. 2 years into a war that's reshaping the entire world, most Americans are not informed. They have no real idea what's happening in this region, here in Russia or 600 miles away in Ukraine. But they should know. They're paying for much of it.
He's totally in the bag for Putin. He has been from day one. It's even stranger that Tucker's dad was CIA, specifically focused on Russian propaganda, just saying. What makes you say that he's in the bag for Putin? What's this Russian involvement stuff? Is there anything to say about that? Isn't that a whole hoax, Russia hoax? Isn't this the same CIA that was spying? Help me understand, because maybe you know more than me, Kevin Howe, is why I'm asking. Is this the same intelligence that was spying on Trump and all that? Or are these silly questions? Is Obama Russia? What's going on here? Tucker, though, is... What'd you say about this, though, Kevin Howe? Do you think Americans should hear what Vladimir Putin has to say? What do you think about that, Kevin Howe? Do you think that's a fair... Depending on whoever does it, whether it's Tucker or what?
In ways they might not fully yet perceive.
Because like he says, we're paying for it.
The war in Ukraine is a human disaster. It's left hundreds of thousands of people dead, an entire generation of young Ukrainians, and it's depopulated the largest country in Europe. But the long-term effects are even more profound. This war has utterly reshaped the global military and trade alliances. And these...
Dang! Is he talking about BRICS? I guess he's talking about BRICS. I mean, the sanctions... I don't know that much, but He's talking about that, right? The sanctions. I mean, he's talking about the teams. He's talking about the teams of the world, the team players. Who are the teams? Who's teaming up with who? And when you get what's going on with BRICS and all this, the American dollar. Well, maybe I'm repeating the obvious for those who don't know in the back, but I'm sure the rest of you know. You don't need me here. We got Tucker.
Sanctions that followed have as well. And in total, they have upended the world economy. The post-World War II economic order, the system that guaranteed prosperity in the West for more than 80 years, is coming apart very fast, and along with it, the dominance of the US dollar. These are not small changes. They are history-altering developments. They will define the lives of our grandchildren.
Dude, look at him, LOL. He's going to Russia to give Putin some softball damage control interview. Tucker's dad was in Russia, China intelligence or propaganda. I don't really know what Tucker's motives are. Tucker probably has shorts in that cold weather. Two completely separate comments, not related to each other. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin, you're pro-Ukraine, right? You. What do you think about the Republicans and all them and their all their money, all the money to the Ukrainians? Are you with this whole? Are you with this whole notion that it is the for a grander security, for it's a larger picture of security for Americans? That's why we need to be over there in Ukraine. You agree with all that? And you got to fight the fight over there, right? But yeah. Lamps, thank you, Lamps, for buying me a coffee. Says today's show feels extra Cuban. We're just, I don't know if you mean like Cuban, like diverse, like Mark Cuban wants. That might be fair. I don't know if you mean all laissez-faire, like if we were wearing, like if we were in Cuba with the, enjoying the sun. Either way, man. Thanks, Lamps. Appreciate the coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/anchorbaby.
The world understands this perfectly well. They can see it. Ask anyone in Asia or the Middle East what the future looks like. And yet the populations of the English-speaking countries seem mostly unaware. They think that nothing has really changed. And they think that because no one has told them the truth. Their media outlets are corrupt. They lie to their readers and viewers. And they do that mostly by omission. For example, since the day the war in Ukraine began, American media outlets have spoken to scores of people from Ukraine, and they have done scores of interviews with Ukrainian President Zelensky. We ourselves have put in a request for an interview with Zelensky, and we hope he accepts. But the interviews he's already done in the United States are not traditional interviews. They are fawning pep sessions specifically designed to amplify Zelensky's demand that the U.S. enter more deeply into a war in Eastern Europe and pay for it. That is not journalism. It is government propaganda. Propaganda of the ugliest kind, the kind that kills people. At the same time, our politicians and media outlets have been doing this, promoting a foreign leader like he's a new consumer brand. Not a single Western journalist has bothered to interview the president of the other country involved in this conflict.
Mr. Pink, you're saying, is the interview out? No, I don't think so. Right? Tucker Putin, that's not yet. Isn't that tomorrow or tonight? Putin gave, wait a second, Tucker Carlson 2 interview. Kremlin confirms Putin gave interview. Yeah, but it's not out yet. No. They have not interviewed, like they haven't posted it or anything like that. Tucker is a signal booster. Unless you know something I don't know, Mr. Pink. Okay.
Vladimir Putin. Most Americans have no idea why Putin invaded Ukraine or what his goals are now. They've never heard his voice. That's wrong. Americans have a right to know all they can about a war they're implicated in, and we have the right to tell them about it because we are Americans too.
Breaking: the European Union is said to be seeking sanctions and travel bans against Tucker Carlson for his interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin. No, is this true? Colin Rugg. reports on X. EU lawmakers are now furious that a journalist flew to Russia to do journalism. They want to slap Tucker with sanctions for assisting Putin. Putin is a war criminal, and the EU sanctions all who assist him in that effort. What? It seems European Parliament member Guy Verhofstadt. That's a strange name. Former MEP Luis Garciano agreed he is no longer a newsman but a propagandist for the most heinous regime on European soil and the one which is most dangerous to our peace and security. So for such propaganda, for a criminal regime, you can end up... I mean, is this true? I'm seeing now updates on this very same news reporting here. A community note saying the post... This is a community notes. We're getting live corrections on live news. I mean, you got to love X.com. Thank you, Elon Musk. Readers added context. This post is incorrect to say that the EU is seeking a sanction. One member of the European Parliament who does not speak for the EU has called for such a sanction. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. 888-775-3773. I'm about to get to you. Appreciate it.
Freedom of speech is our birthright. We were born with the right to say what we believe. That right cannot be taken away no matter who is in the White House. But they're trying anyway. Almost 3 years ago, the Biden administration illegally spied on our text messages and then...
I mean, on that free speech note, Tucker Carlson, we'll see what happens with all that. Let me get to Frederick. Why don't I get to Frederick here, who kindly has called my show. Frederick, Los Angeles. How you doing, sir? Appreciate it.
How's it going? Good
All is
afternoon.
well? No
Thanks for
complaints
taking
here.
my call.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson and Putin. What you thinking about that?
Well, I'm not sure what to think. I'm not thinking much besides just reacting a little to the negative attention he's getting from it. I can't seem to think anything other than why not?
That's
Why
right.
not?
That's
And
right.
and more too because I don't really trust. It has to do with this point in time as well. This particular situation, I don't really trust our own media, and so that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay. What do you think about the way Putin handles the media in Russia? How he controls what they watch and don't let them. I think it'd been more beneficial if someone was to air an American news channel in Russia and let them hear the other side instead of us hearing his side. I'm pretty sure we can hear his side and understand what's going on about how Ukraine's not supposed to be getting closer to the UN, and we understand that. I want to see it. But how do we know what he's saying isn't propaganda for the Trump supporters to vote for Trump and make Trump the same type of president he is? And then Trump's going to get rid of the fake news and attack the press, and then we'll be living in a world like Putin's already living in. What do you think about that scenario? I'm just asking.
I don't know if Trump voters or supporters or anything should even be worried about that, because our place.
You know they love Putin, though, right?
You're saying Trump supporters love Putin? What makes you say that?
Oh yeah, they definitely pro-Putin.
What does pro-Putin mean?
Pro-Putin?
Right, like
you don't know what pro-Putin means? It means
it's one thing
Putin.
to like someone, and it's another thing to be pro his policies or be pro the Russian government. You know what I mean? So it's a little unclear. It's a little unclear to say that an American is pro-Putin. You see what I'm saying? Let's say you're a Russian, right? And you're like, well, are you pro-Putin or this other candidate? Then that would make sense.
Are you Ukraine or are you Russian or for Russia? And they'll say, well, I'm for Russia if they're for Trump. They're
I'm
not
following
for
now.
Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it
What do you think about that?
100. What do I think about it?
About being supportive of Russia, I guess, over Ukraine.
Supportive of communists, and y'all are against communists. That's amazing. I'm like, wow, do you see how they do their media? Like, reporters have to get on the news and tell the truth to their people, and then they get locked up and off to prison for life because...
Kind of like America. It doesn't sound too.
You can turn to any channel and watch whatever you want.
Okay, maybe not quite.
To watch.
But really, is are they really that much more communist than America?
Come on
in
now.
many ways?
Are they see how y'all are willing to affect, like, y'all just
willing
our
to what?
values can be compromised.
Wait, what am I being compromised on? Like, I'm being tongue in cheek because I know what you're reacting to. You're reacting to some sort of positive, this positive light that maybe some conservatives or Republicans may have. And I don't know where they lie specifically, but following this whole thing over these past few years and all that, I think where it comes from these people is that they don't quite really see America as the big good guys in this whole scenario, in this whole gambit. And so when their own government is censoring them, you can't even get Republicans to say, hey, you know what? Whites are being replaced. You can't get them to close the border. You can't get them to do anything. You start thinking, well, you know what? Putin, who does handle his country in a different way, in some ways you may disagree with, but in other ways that you might even agree with, you see that dichotomy gets brought up just to prove a point. Some might take it further and become total LARPers. I'm sure you've noticed that too. I don't know what you're specifically reacting to, but I'm sure that you see those too. Republicans, conservatives who are, I don't know, pro-Putin all the way in a way that doesn't quite make sense because maybe they don't quite understand what they're really supporting.
I see a lot of that.
I don't know if they're quite, but you got to understand it's being born out of a reaction, not really out of a true support of Russia. I don't know if they really know, if everybody knows what they're really supporting.
You know why?
It's more of a rebellion against America.
Don't get it out, Nick. Say all you want to say, so I can. I don't.
Thank you. Appreciate the patience.
We did enough of that.
Yeah, appreciate the patience, but yeah, it's a rebellion. It's the Russia support you're really noticing or anything, in my opinion, is just a rebellion against America to try and make you help you understand there a little bit.
All right, can I talk?
Oh yeah. Thanks for the patience. Thanks for holding on. Thanks for asking too.
Not a problem. The same suppression of whites being pushed to a minority and the degeneracy. Who runs the media? Who's pushing and ignoring these narratives?
Wait, say again?
And I can't even get my narrative across. The ancient Egyptians were black because there's these oligarchs and these people in power that knows what's going on. They playing each side against each side. So Democrats and
what are you talking
Republicans,
about?
If you're a Republican, you're already part of the game. You said, I raised my hand. I want to play this game against each other where somebody's pulling the strings on both sides and I'm on this side.
Who's not letting you get this?
Puppetry.
You said you got. You said.
Oh my God.
You say, "Oh my God," but nobody's understanding you. You're saying someone's not letting. You're saying someone's not letting you get out your.
The same ones that's ignoring
thing
white
about
people being
pharaohs?
minorities. The same people that's ignoring white people are going to be a minority. Blacks and the immigrants are coming in. They ignoring that. The border's open for a reason. They're ignoring that. The same people you cry about that's ignoring you are ignoring me. We both got gripes and griping and playing this game that they got in front of you, Republican, Democrat, Independent, and you raise your hand and say, okay, I want to play this. I'm an anarchist who's going to flip over the game board. You can play and go to war with the Democrats and the other countries, but no, the whole board game needs to be flipped. And as long as you identify as one of these people that's all for the same goal, it's ignorancy. But y'all do what y'all want. I'm going international.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I've heard you say that one. You know, I don't know.
Right, I
don't necessarily disagree. That's the funny thing, but I just don't think you're on this side. I don't think you have anger.
It's a duopoly.
I don't really know.
The only person that used the term duopoly is Dr. Cornel West, and ain't nobody voting for him. But y'all do what y'all do, and y'all deserve what y'all get.
What's
y'all
duopoly?
Know the blacks is on the rise. Crime is on the rise. Chaos is on the rise. It's about getting your guns and getting ready to use them, learn how to fight. Like you said, about time you got a gun pointed at you, it's too late for you to use it. You said the kids in the classrooms are sitting ducks. About time it's time for you to use your gun, and whether you got a gun or not, it's too late. because you're already getting gunned down. So, okay, y'all know what the plan is. Y'all ain't going to do nothing about it. Y'all voting for ignorancy.
What's the plan that we're ignoring? Frederick, help us out.
The wall kissers. One say so everybody.
Why not just say that?
You already know who's the central bank, the oligarchs.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're saying someone's not letting me say my thing about pharaohs, and I finally keyed in I finally clued in on a snippet of what you were just saying that I could ask you about.
How are you that slow though?
No. But you were just saying all this stuff that I understand. There was a snippet that I could ask you about, and you said there's this plan that we're ignoring, and I'm like, finally, something I can understand and ask. And I'm like, okay, what's this plan that we're ignoring? Okay, now I'm understanding. You're saying it's the Jews.
It's the central bank. It's going to be BRICS against, you know what I'm saying, the central bank. So, okay, what's up? What don't you understand about BRICS?
Wait, what? Sorry, what's your question? What he said?
It's going to be BRICS against the
What's the
central
plan
bank.
that we're ignoring that we should be doing? You said there's a plan that we're missing. There's a plan that we're not that we know about that we're not putting in action. What is it, Frederick? Help us out.
World War III is their plan to strengthen their dollar. BRICS is the alternative because y'all can't stop it. It's either World War III or BRICS going to take over the dollar. So you arguing amongst yourselves while they pushing for war in Israel right now and Iraq and Iran. That's what it's about. So when we get attacked and China's doing hacks and everybody's losing their money, you ask for this. Don't act like
who asked for what? Who asked for what? Who asked for what? Wait, who asked for what? Who asked for what?
The American citizens from being stupid and not looking at what's going on.
And they were supposed to look at the central bank?
Yeah, they supposed to look at this board game. All the whole game of them being broke and their neighbors being against them is by design. Divide and conquer. No matter what little slice of the pie, it's divide and conquer going on in it. Are you gonna get conquered or are you gonna get divided?
So after it all comes apart, let's stay abstract here, I guess. After it all comes apart, Frederick, I don't know who you teaming up with, I guess. It sounds like this is what you
It's the bubble is about to bust. It's not about teaming up with anybody. It's about saving what you think you need to live through the recession. Because when the recession comes, everybody's going to need some help. Everybody's going to be trying to be a 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. Everybody's going to be on their knees trying to be a YouTube sensation, and they're going to cut it off. Off with your money. No more YouTube. We got you right where we want you. Thanks for being entertained while we put our plan together. But it's okay.
It sounds like an unchristian. That doesn't sound very Christian.
What do you think about Trump?
I don't know what you're saying, but it doesn't sound like a Christian life.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It
doesn't sound like a Christian. Like a Christian would be living that kind of life that you're describing.
These are Christians running the country, right?
So-called.
So-called. A lot of Jews in there too. But listen.
Yeah.
What do you think about these judges that made that statement and said that his immunity is no good?
Oh, for the 2020 stuff? Well, the argument is like he's saying, "Oh, you got to have the immunity because that's how a president can operate," and that's a fair argument. But you don't even have to go there because the whole thing is centered around him using his right to question what he wants to question. There's literally nothing. There's literally no laws broken here. There's no laws broken here. So this whole insurrection, it's a conspiracy to overturn elections. There's no laws broken. I still don't. Maybe I need a lawyer to explain it to me because it sounds to me like Trump was questioning the election and his legal right. So you don't even have to go to this immunity stuff. I mean, it sounds like he's right, though. It sounds right to me what he's saying about immunity and the president's needing that. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I think it's setting precedents. Like if that would have came out the other way, what would stop Joe Biden from walking up on Trump and shooting him with a 4.5? Like, a sitting president's untouchable. Who's my running mate?
You really think?
I'll be like, hold on, that's not right.
You really think that's what the immunity is about?
The president can't be prosecuted, so
go ahead,
if Biden orders Trump's murder tomorrow, y'all be like, hold on, time out. That ain't right.
Well, I don't know if that's how that works. I just don't know.
Yeah, be careful.
I don't know if that's. Do you know if that's how that works?
Yeah, that's what they was asking. If President Trump was president, are you saying he can order the hit of anybody, any political opponent, and not be prosecuted? And they're like, yeah, if he ever been impeached first. And they laughed at Trump lawyers like, you need to impeach him first? What if he's killing the people that's trying to impeach him?
So that was a joke?
He's not impeached, no, they laughed at the lawyer like he was a joke. Yeah, they said, no, a sitting president is going to be charged with murder. But it's okay. They laughed him off. He needs some money for his lawyer's defense.
I don't know what to think, man. It doesn't sound... I don't know. So this presidential immunity, you're telling me that before Trump, every president had this immunity because it's not a matter of whether we want it or not. It was already there, right? This immunity.
It was already there.
So help me understand here. Are you telling me the presidents were able to just, like you said, all the way up to what? Assassinating another president? They would be immune? They would be immune? Allow me to ask my question. You're telling me they would be immune? They would be immune if they did that?
It's the first time they're bringing it up, and they asked that question, and they just answered, no, they won't be immune. It's the first time a president ever did anything like this where they had to ask this question. So the Supreme Court don't even have a statute to go look at to compare it to. They just gonna have to take this.
So they just never had to deal with it yet. So okay, gotcha. So they just never had to deal with that. But that doesn't mean they necessarily, all these presidents who previously had this immunity that is now being challenged in the courts with Trump.
That's why it's been decided.
So this
from here forward, if they would have decided the other way, from here forward, it would have been different. From here forward,
no.
The decision.
But because that's never happened, there is no
exactly.
Because it's never happened, there is no forward. Like it hasn't happened, right?
Yes,
so
they just made a ruling.
This immunity.
So from here forward, they got the idea. So from here,
I'm just trying to say again.
You just trying to say what?
I'm just trying to make it clear for us laymen that the immunity that the presidents enjoy doesn't necessarily mean they're allowed to go around murdering people. So anyone saying, "Oh, you think this?" Anyone going around saying this immunity would protect a president from something ridiculous like that is being dishonest, is what you're saying, right?
If you're just saying immunity and not putting on what he's getting immunity from and putting a blanket statement of immunity.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is nobody was assuming that. The law never assumed that. Nobody thought that. Nobody thought that about the immunity.
Thinking that. Immunity means
nobody ever thought that, right?
Yeah.
That was never a problem. Gotcha. So that's...
No, they did think that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They just never had to use it. That's why Trump thinks that now, and he just found out that's not true. So they did think every president was immune to being prosecuted until they found out today.
Interesting.
Or maybe yesterday, a couple of days ago. It is interesting. They say he's going to have a trial before November. We're going to see.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to think. If a president's
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Say that again?
I said it's like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh.
You can't wake up from this dream. It's a nightmare.
Nah, I just don't know about the immunity stuff. He says that a president needs it. I don't even need to go there. The whole charge is fake. He's allowed to question what he's allowed to question. Right on, Frederick.
All right.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Anything else you want to say before we move on here?
Nah. Shout out to my people, Riencio, Lagnay, JS Urban Adventures. Y'all keep y'all head up. Wrong 13, Mr. Mad. You know the whole crew. You know my crew to be out there. Hey, and another thing, y'all mods either needs to be in competition with each other or getting fired. They need to be bringing people to your platform or you replace them. Mods need to be order, not in with the crowd. It's like you give something to somebody that didn't earn it, you're going to make them miserable. And your mods seem miserable. They seem
your minds?
Y'all, mods. Your mods seem miserable because you gave them something and they didn't earn it. Yeah, your mods.
Oh,
yeah,
you got into it with the mods?
Yeah, make them compete. Make them bring people to your channel, or you farm and then run the business right. Cause
that's not really
growing.
the job.
You need to be growing.
Well, thanks for the suggestion, Frederick. Appreciate that.
All right.
Right on.
Shout out.
Okay. All right. Let's keep it going, folks. We got a couple calls here before we end the show. Joshua, Los Angeles, you're on the air.
Nicholas, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Joshua?
Living life.
Right
I haven't been to church in a while. Car broke down.
No way. Joshua, how you been, man? Hey,
dude,
it's good to
been
hear
a crazy
from you.
couple of weeks, but I'm all right. Yeah, no, good to talk to you too.
You said car broke down. How you been?
Yeah, just saving money, trying to get my engine replaced. But yeah, I just quit. Going through.
Dang, Joshua, man, it's good to hear from you, though. Yeah, I didn't think much. I was thinking about you the other day. Yeah, I didn't think much, though. I just thought, anytime I think about you guys, Joshua and, I just think these guys are just probably doing their thing. And I'm wishing you guys well. So nice to hear from you, though.
Yeah, well, both, Kamran, you're talking about.
I didn't want to put out, I forget if people knew his name or whatever, and I just didn't want to dox him.
Nah, there's no doctor.
I forget.
Just talking about what's going on, and he's doing his thing, and he's in another area, and I'm doing my thing. But I had this job that I really liked, and I was working with this guy who I thought was my friend, and everything was just working out great. But kind of, met the girl I've been hanging around with, and things started happening behind my back.
Oh,
and
it's like that.
But it's like this lie was being built behind my back, and somehow I was
this lie with
listening to. Huh?
This lie was being built. This lie with this woman.
Like the guy I'm working with, and supposed friend, and my girl. They're like.
Dang,
hooking up or planning to hook up or whatever behind my back. It's like I saw it coming, and then I saw it happening, and it would, like, I could see between the lies, I haven't been to church, but I listen to Jesse a lot, and I've been listening to all the churches even though I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
And I watch his past things, and it's all like really relevant to what but I was questioning myself, is this happening? Could this really be happening? Could it be really disgusting if it is, and then
this hookup, like, you mean?
Yeah.
Which at this point you were just suspecting, you had not known?
Right.
I'm following.
But I did have that knowing, you know what I mean? Like I knew it. But I'm like, I'm not always right. I don't know everything, So like I kind of question myself, like, no, that can't be happening. It's not happening.
Gotcha.
But,
so sorry, just to reiterate, yeah, you're seeing this woman, you're working with somebody, and you got suspicions. Something's telling you that something's going on with them, but you're not sure at this point.
Right, and then and I would think about it, and how Jesse says all the thoughts are all lies and all that. So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it's not happening, and I'm imagining all this, right? So I just kind of like not spoke up about it, and I just watched and observed, and I just observed the lies happening around me. And I was like, oh, and I was like looking for the truth in the situation, because I didn't know if it was happening or not, but I was suspicious. So, but then I told myself, or thinking to myself, you know what, there's no truth in this, because I'm in the fallen state, and whatever's happening is just a result of that. There's no truth in it. So I just need to not concern myself with it,
When you say it's no truth in it, you mean the relationship?
Right.
Go on.
And like she's not hurting me. It's not happening. This isn't happening to me, in a sense. Like I'm just in that fallen state, our relationship was born out of the fallen state. And, like, what do you expect, you know? So it's like that was giving me peace, and you know, just moving on. And now I'm just like glad to see it. And there's two snakes that just expose themselves, and they're out of my life. And I quit my job. Now I have no income, but whatever, you know, c'est la vie. I'm gonna wish them well and find work elsewhere. You know,
He was like your boss or something?
Right.
Oh, okay.
And you like pick me up and take me to work, and I don't know. It's ridiculous. It was like a really cool job.
Can you ask him? Can you tell him, hey, no hard feelings. Look, you can have her. Let me just work here till I find a new job. But look, we'll just put water under the bridge. Look, we don't even talk about it. We don't have to hang out. We don't have to be friends. You can have her. I'm just messing around. I'm messing around.
Well, yeah.
I'm messing around a little bit, but just because I'm trying to make the point that, yeah, it sounds like you sounds like you had your beginning and end to the story, and like just for our viewers here, did you ended up finding out for sure then, I guess? It ended up being clear that it was happening? Your suspicions came true?
The truth was revealed, and she called me and, like, spilled the beans, and they told me what was going on, but she tried to lie her whole way through it, and she's twisting the timeline like, oh, I called you this time and ended it, and me and him talking happened after it. And then, like, that's a total lie, because I was suspicious before that, and I put it all together, you know, like, and things he said and things she said, like, I was already onto it. So now that, like, the truth is revealed, it's like all those times that I was conscious and observant, it's just all, like, coming together. Like, you tie your shoelace and you pull the two laces and your shoe tightens. You know what I mean?
And you saw all the moments. You're like, that was all a lie.
Yeah. And then that's why he said that. And that's why she said that. You know what I mean?
So when you said this was a result of your fallen state, what do you mean by that?
Well, like, being involved with, you know, the female in the way that I was, it wasn't the right way. You know, it was just like sex out of wedlock, whatever, all that stuff. And then it's just like, no good's going to come out of that anyway. So,
fighting.
What's that?
Fighting? It sounds like you guys were fighting, because it sounds like she said, oh, well, I thought we broke up, and this was happened at this time. We weren't together at that point.
Well, with her, like, we didn't fight much, but she didn't, like, trust me. She always doubted me, you know? And so it's like, I think people who do that and are, like, themselves, that's how they see themselves, like, subconsciously, and they think that other people are like that, you know? And I'm not. I was, you know, loyal to her. Like, if I have a woman that I'm with, I'm with her, you know? I'm not going to deviate.
I gotcha.
I don't, like,
totally
trustworthy like that. But she totally, like, thought I was the complete opposite. And the funny thing is, there's a guy that she's talking to, this supposed friend. I've known him for almost 15 plus years, off and on, work with him. He's just kind of like a player, smooth talker. You know, he's got good looks, but he's just full of, like, BS, you know? And, like, I kind of, like, I saw that in him, but that's his life and what he was doing. But, you know,
didn't think it would affect you like this.
Yeah, between him and I, like, we got along. We lived in a warehouse together and done art together, and, you know, all sorts of stuff. But it's just,
damn,
you know, he tried to keep me in the dark. This is what she's telling me. He's like, you know, let's not tell him about anything until it like pans out. Like if it gets serious, then we'll let him know. So that's where he's like trying to keep me in this false reality. So I can't work with a guy who's in control of my money. You know?
Yeah, it's hard to trust
going
that.
behind my
I
back
understand
and
that.
keeping me in this dark world. So I'm not going to work with him. It's the principality, man. Like,
I guess I understand that. I mean, if you're fine, I was saying, go tell him, hey, you can have her and see if you can get your job back just until you find another one. I was saying that more I mean, if you're fine, you're fine. I was saying that to kind of just make a point on how like, it's easy for me to say, obviously, but now that you see this, now you see the true, and you see this about yourself too, but you see how, it was never love, right? She never really loved you. It was,
right.
And so it should be in an ideal situation, easy to drop it and be like, okay, you can have her. I just need to make and just be purely manly and logical about it. Like I'm just trying to get money so I can get away from this situation. I don't trust you, man. You don't have to say all that, obviously, but I was just trying to make that point. But if you're good, man, you're good, and you don't need to be around all that. I understand you.
Nah, I don't need that, man. And like my job with him, right? Like sometimes he'll give me a ride if he's in the area, but he moved up in 50 miles away where the job site is. So I take the train out there, and I get there, don't call him to pick me up, and then she called me Thursday night, so I go there Friday last week, and I just go get my tools, pick him up, and he wasn't there, and then I was like, I'm out of here. Talk to the owner, and I told him, I was like, hey man, this guy's a deceiver. I don't trust him, and I can't work with him. I'm sorry. Like, I love working here, blah, blah, blah. He's like, all right, well, bud, like, okay, thank you for everything. And he gave me a little bit of cash. He paid me out. And so, I leave, and he texts me like, hey, I came to work, and I heard you came by. Like, what's up? And I just, like, F off, That's all I text him. Just F off. Like, it's obvious, at this point. Right? And he's just playing stupid. So now, like, the lie is, like, continuing, building. Right? And it's, and he's like, well, I heard you came by, and, like, I'm super confused. I'm like, dude, so I just didn't respond for a couple of days. Like, are you super retarded or super lying? And then I was just like, more like super coward. And that's all I have to say. Like, I don't have anything else to say to him. I don't need to, like,
everything you say is just
or tell
giving
him
him
he's a jerk.
Yeah, there's everything you say, anything more you say at this point is giving, is just like life for them or anything like.
Exactly.
It's just not.
Yeah,
there's no point to it. There's literally not a single point to that.
Right. He's saying he's super confused, right? Because he's too cowardice to admit what's going on, right? So he wants me to accuse him of something so he could build his lie and construct it in a way to, like, manipulate his actions.
The lie you're talking about him and her. When you say the lie, right?
No, when I say, like, he's asking me, like, I heard you came by, I'm super confused as to why you just quit.
Oh,
gotcha. Is this point. And I'm like, how can you be super confused when you know exactly...
And that's when you tell him to F off.
Yeah. Exactly. Like,
but don't you see the most perfect way to win is, like, if you had been like, hey, no problem, yeah, you can have her. Yeah, no problem, man. Listen, I'll put in my 2 weeks. Look, no, I'm still trying to. I just found something better. You know what I mean? And it doesn't bother you at all. Like this, no lie formed. You don't even care about that. Like, that would be the win if there was a win, if you had to have one.
Right. Well, No, but that's where I'm at.
Right on.
I feel like there's a weight off my shoulder, and like I don't, because it was stressing me out enough already. Like, not stressing me, but going out there 50 miles to work and 50 miles back. My car broke down. It's just like maybe like those are all signs that that I shouldn't be working there. And I had that feeling, and this guy is like 4 times vaccinated and boosted like to the max, and he's all about it. And now it's like a sign to me, like, I don't know about this guy. Like,
well, I'm glad you're good, because that's like the best. That's the best response, is just being good. And I know you're just calling a touch base. It's nice to hear from you, Joshua. I'm glad to hear you're fine. But yeah, that's the win here, and I'm sure you're rocking it this way, not showing. And if this is an if moment, not showing anything, not showing that you lost something or that you won something or you're happy or you're sad. Right on, Joshua.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, thanks for hearing me out.
Anytime, sir.
Good talking to you, and I'm
as always
trying to get to church. Every time.
We're here every Sunday. You know it. We'll just keep doing our thing. I know you're doing your thing. I didn't think twice about it, but we'll be here whenever you're around.
Well, man.
All right, brother.
Good talk to you, Nicholas.
Call me again. Take care.
All right, later.
And that's pretty much it. We actually made it, folks. We done made it, and you stuck by me till the end. You guys rock. I appreciate it. Some super chats here. Be fit to be fit. A couple back-to-back. Triple super chats. In fact, says, girls don't leave edgy guys. Try flat earth. Be fit to be fit. Thank you. Says, learning being a simp is not attractive again. And I think train wreck is over, but even more cars. A little cryptic, maybe. But thank you, Be fit to be fit. Appreciate the support there. And everybody who super chatted and all that. We'll get to more American Anchor Baby tomorrow, Thursday. That's Bible Thumper Thursday, Hake Report, and Joel Friday, right before I come on again tomorrow, noon. Don't miss it. Appreciate it. And I think that is truly all. I do declare, I do believe that is all. All right, y'all. Let me say bye. For real. Peace. Take care.